We ate raw cookie dough when we were kids.
I hate raw cookie dough.
Oh, it's the best thing ever.
Hello, I'm Carolee.
And I'm Charles.
We're an old married couple who enjoys traveling, cooking, and having adventures.
Together we enjoy all the wonderful things the world has to offer.
Join us as we discover the
The
wonder
wonder
about
about
us. Chin chin.
So while Eric's potatoes are cooking away, I'm going to make an egg dish that I've never made before. I'm going to make, because this is something I've been wanting to learn how to do anyway. So I went to the Canadian Egg Farmers Council website and got the recipe for a basic souffle. So that way I can learn to make a souffle.
Canadian eggs are better than U.S. eggs.
I don't know. They had a recipe for a basic souffle. The American Egg Farmers, maybe they had one too, but I don't know. All right. So the way we start with this recipe is I got 2 tablespoons of butter melting here on the pan. It's just about melted. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make a bechamel. We're going to mix the eggs with it, and then we're going to make the fluff, and it all goes into the oven. So to make the bechamel, we're going to start. So bechamel is, it sounds fancy. It's one of the French mother sauces, but it is just a roux and milk. So flour, butter, and milk. So I got 2 tablespoons of butter, 2 tablespoons of butter, 2 tablespoons of flour. So yeah, basically bechamel is the base for like nacho cheese sauce and country gravy, biscuits and gravy, and it's the base for macaroni and cheese. It's basically the best sauce there is.
And then I pour that in slowly too.
Oh yeah, they told me put it all in at once, so I think it's gonna bind. Yeah, that was 3/4 of a cup of milk, and this is half a teaspoon of salt and a pinch of pepper, and all.
So this is actually going to be an egg souffle, you said, Charles?
Yeah, so this is just a basic egg souffle. I've been working on a cookbook now for about 30 years, and one of the recipes I would like to include in it is a chocolate souffle. But I feel like there's steps you take. You make a basic souffle first, then learn to make a chocolate souffle after that. It's starting to thicken up. I can feel the viscosity. I don't know if it's coming up on the camera. Yeah, so it's getting really thick. So this is the French mother sauce bechamel. Read your recipe before you do it. I've read it, but I'm still working from it. Okay, so the bechamel, it needs to cool because I'm going to be adding it to the eggs.
You turned it off.
I turned it off, yeah. And I started my oven at 375, so it's already heating up. Now I need to separate these eggs. I got 4 eggs. I'm going to be using 4 egg yolks and 2 egg whites. So I'm just.
Oh, you're gonna do this.
I'm gonna do the eggshell.
So see, this has a little bit thicker shell than that other one. Be careful with your thumbs pushing it in.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a better batch of eggs. That actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now it broke when it came to here, but that's okay.
Because I'm gonna mix those up.
Yeah.
Well, I'm waiting for my bechamel to cool anyway. So while I do that, I'm gonna butter this souffle dish. And I got a little bit of butter here. I'm just gonna drop that in there. This seems like a lot of steps, but I think there are things that we can do. Once I get the recipe down, there are things we could do to processize this. And
Did they say how much butter to put in here?
no, just butter it. And
Okay, so a trick my Aunt Carrie taught me was that you leave the stick of butter in the wrapper and you just open one end. That way you don't have to get your hands all gooey and you can just wipe it around the inside of the container that you need. And that way you don't get gooey hands and you have how much or how little you want.
well, I also think in the future I'll just spray it, but
This will be better.
I do like the buttery flavor with eggs, yeah. And then I got this guy here. Just what we're gonna do is do this over the sink. It's just plain breadcrumbs. So this can also be done with grated Parmesan cheese.
That would be good.
Yeah, but essentially what we need is
So you're coating it just like we did flour as a kid for when you're going to bake a cake.
right, but we're using something that has basically a lot of grit, because the souffle needs traction to crawl up the edge, or it can't, or it won't rise. I think flour works, but it's better with more texture.
And this is gonna
At least that's what the internet says.
Yeah, and the internet's always right, right?
Right.
But this makes this will add more flavor to than flour.
Yeah.
This looks really good.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be good. Okay. So there's my coated souffle.
Yeah.
All right. No, I got my grated Parmesan cheese.
Parmesan Reggiano?
No, it's
No,
99
Parmesan.
99-cent store Parmesan.
It looks like really good Parmesan.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna mix up my eggs. So what we're gonna do is this bechamel.
The pan's gonna stay much hotter because that's
Yeah.
that
It's cooled off. It's cool enough that it's not gonna cook the eggs, but don't want to take that chance. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna temper the eggs.
Come around the other side.
Yeah, come around the other side. So I'm gonna temper the eggs. I'm gonna get a little bit of the bechamel, and I'm gonna warm up the eggs so that they won't cook. I don't want to make scrambled eggs. I want this to be a sauce. Let me get a little bit more in there. Okay.
So I just use a spatula to make sure and get all that goodness out of the pan.
Yeah.
It's gonna keep your portions better as well.
Yeah, souffle is more science than cooking, I think. It's like
Right.
baking.
Right. It is baking. It's going in the oven, right?
That's true. Okay. Now this is,
That's yummy looking.
yeah. I mean, essentially what we got here is custard.
Yeah.
Cheese custard.
So you do the same thing if you're going to be making flan.
Yeah. And now, so at this point, if it's a souffle, if you're making souffle, regardless of what you're making, if you're making a crab souffle, this is when you would add your crab. If you're making a cheese souffle, this is when you add your cheese.
Darn, I have crab in the freezer.
Yeah. Well, I want to start out with a basic recipe.
I know, but
Yeah.
it just sounds so good.
Okay. Now, eggs have a lot of sulfur in them, which is why they stink when they rot, and they're very alkaline. So what we're trying to do is, in order to make bubbles, bigger bubbles or better bubbles, we're going to mix it with cream of tartar, which is basically tartaric acid, and it should neutralize the pH of the eggs a little bit and make them bubble better. So this is going to make a lot of noise, but let me explain what's happening here first. Okay, I'm going to whisk these up to what they call stiff peaks. It's a good thing I got my back up in case I go too far. But what's happening now is we're doing what's called denaturing the eggs. These whisks are going to go through the egg yolk, and the proteins are like this cord. They're just all twisted up and messy. And what this is going to do is it's going to act like a comb and straighten out all the protein strands. So as it straightens out the protein strands, it's also bringing in air, and so air will get trapped in between all these long protein strands, and that gives it the structural integrity it needs to become a souffle.
So this is the same thing that you do to make. He's basically making meringue.
Yeah.
And if you have one of those KitchenAid upright mixers, you're better off with a hand mixer for making your egg whites.
Yeah,
Your egg whites.
and when I do like fluffy omelets and stuff, I whisk by hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can't do meringue by hand. It's going to take you.
Yeah, to get the stiff peaks, it would wear me out.
So by tipping the egg bowl like that, you get by tipping the bowl like that, it helps concentrate the eggs and whipping them up better. And then pretty soon he's gonna start seeing that they're gonna actually start getting white. And you can do this without the cream of tartar, but it's better with the cream of tartar, and it's just a tiny bit of cream of tartar. Are you starting to get the whites now, Charles? Yeah, so there's.
It's not at soft peaks yet, but it's starting to.
But see how it's starting to look. It's doubled in volume, and it's getting white where it was clear.
Oh, also, I'm doing this in a glass bowl because it's noisier, but also the polymers in the plastic will bond with egg proteins sometimes, and it makes it harder to get. So everything I can do to make it easier on myself to get stiff peaks. What do you think?
I I think they're just about there.
I think,
Oop, you're looking there.
Pretty
Oops, there.
close.
I was looking at that peak there.
Oh yeah, I think we're done.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna take these out.
So notice how when he touched, yeah, it's the same thing. When he touches them with the beater, see how they're peaked. So if you were making a meringue cake, and this is our meringue pie, that's how you put the meringue on, and then you touch it like that to make your peaks.
So now I've got my custard.
And he's gonna want to fold this in
Gently, a little bit at a time. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take like
Watch the handle.
a third of it. Well, I need to move over to the other side so I got some room to work here because I got a dog under my feet. So I'm not stirring this, I'm folding it because I don't want to lose this air.
He's making me nervous with that handle of the bowl on the other side.
Yeah, I know where the handle is.
I'm afraid the goose is going to get on it. So notice how he's just barely folding it. And he doesn't have to fold in each piece completely, each little batch completely, because it's going to continue folding as he gets it in. Are you putting it all in this time?
Yeah, that's the last of it.
You don't want this last
No, it's all right. I'm not going to fight for it. Okay. I think I got...
So see how he has hardly any white, so it's almost completely folded in, and he's still going to fold it a little bit more as he's pouring it into the souffle dish. So you're better off not over folding it.
Yeah, it's still a little streaky, but I don't want to lose any of this air.
So by the time he folds it in here, I'm going to walk around you.
Okay.
By the time he folds it, because he's gonna be folding it again as it comes in. It's barely any white, so this is perfect.
Okay. 375 degree oven for 20 to 25 minutes. I'm going to put it right on the rack. And we'll keep an eye on it. Come back. Eric's potatoes have 2 minutes, but they can go a little bit longer and they won't cool.
Set your timer?
No. I'm going to set it for 20 and then check it and then maybe go another 5 if I got the, make sure I got the lift. But Eric's potatoes are almost done, but they'll stay hot. We won't lose any coolness there. And then by the time the souffle comes out, we're ready for breakfast.
So when you're going to check the souffle, you want to turn the light on in your oven and look through the glass door. You don't want to.
Yeah.
You don't want to open up the oven door because that causes cold air to come in and it changes everything.
Yeah, and you know they always say like don't make any loud noises or whatever, or your souffle or fall. I don't think that's actually true.
All right, I'm excited.
Yeah. All right, we'll be back.
All right.
All right, we're back. Eric's potatoes are out. We've kind of been eating them. But the souffle is ready to come out. Now this is a wide souffle dish, so I don't expect it to get a lot of height, but it's
a big souffle for the amount of souffle you made.
It has come up over the top. In the last 5 minutes, it's gone from here to, well, you know.
Yeah.
It hasn't like grown the big tall.
So those last couple minutes, he looked at it about less than 2 minutes ago. So it's really important to watch those last few minutes, which is the recipe set.
Yep. So this thing's all messed up. The rise on a souffle is actually called Charles' Law. Charles' Law of expanding gases. It's not named after me, but it's kind of cool. And what it is it was a Frenchman who was a balloonist who was the man that determined the rules around how gases expand when they get hot. So, you know, the French, well known for their hot air balloons and their souffles.
I used to know his last name.
I think that was his last name was Charles.
No, I think his first name was Charles.
Oh my gravy, this looks good.
Look at that. Wow, great job, Mr. Charles.
I would call that a success.
I would too. I'm looking forward to eating that.
Yeah. We'll plate it up. Okay, we're gonna plate these bad boys up. get a spoon here. The souffle is already starting to lose its height as it cools. So I just want to reach into there and, oh, yeah, you want to hold on to that? It's a hot, hot pan. Look at that. Ah, look at that jiggle.
That's not pudding.
Oh, it's souffle. It has all the components of pudding.
It's got to be pudding. It's got to be jello because pudding don't wiggle like that.
Yeah. A little bit of Eric's potatoes. Oh, I should have put that crispy side up.
Yummy.
All right, let's try this out here.
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. It needs a little bit of souffle. Oh, it's eggy, it's cheesy, it's light as a freaking feather. The bubbles actually pop on my tongue. Like caviar, but not taste like caviar. Well, caviar's eggs. Eric's potatoes. Crispy, cheesy. Got a whole cheese thing going on here. The sour cream is tops. It's like, gives it a little bit of tang. Cheese, crispy potato. What could be better?
So if it's like cheese, then I'm going to really love it because my grandpa on my dad's side used to call me Chi-Chi Mouse because he was from Wisconsin and we had cheese from the dairy farm on there. So this is the souffle. It smells lovely. It is. It's light and fluffy. You can taste that Parmesan cheese, that little crisp on top. It's a little hot still. And then the Eric's potatoes. I should have used an Italian flavor cheese ball so that would mix better. I didn't think of that.
I think they mix pretty good.
Yeah, they're very, very good. So yeah, Chi-Chi Mouse gives us a #1.
Yeah. All right. So I'm Charles.
I'm Carol Lee.
Thank you for sharing
The Wonder About Us.